This is Blind Like Me.
Hello, everyone.
Interviews, information, and reviews related to living with a vision disability. Your host is Tim Black. Tim has been visually impaired since birth. He's been in radio for 30 years and also hosts the podcast Inside Today's Country. Tim has never let his lack of vision stand in his way.
Hi, it's Tim, and thanks for listening to this week's edition of Blind Like Me. We thank you for following our podcast wherever you're listening from. And don't forget, if you have a comment, question, or a story idea, we'd love to hear from you. info@timblackonair.com. info@timblackonair.com. Drop us an email. We'll get back to you. This week on the program, I had the pleasure of speaking with two individuals who are working on an amazing project in the world of AI for the blind. This project is currently under development with the folks from Mira. We talk with Jagadish, who is here in Canada, and Hema, who is hanging out in the U.S. in California, and she works for Intel. Hema, welcome to the podcast.
Morning, Tim, and we're glad to be here. And let me give a quick intro on myself, and then I'll hand it off to Jagadish, who's kind of going to talk about the cool project that he started off with. And so let me start. My name is Hema Chamrai, and I am the Director for Technology Advocacy and AI for Good at Intel, because there is, technology has been an essential tool, at least as we come off this pandemic, right? That's one thing is being clear, but how do we put it for good use? And at Intel, we are very committed to kind of really creating this world-changing technology that enriches the lives of every person on Earth. And I have this awesome job of working on projects like the one that you're going to hear soon. And again, I'm very excited, for what we have in these days, especially around visual systems that are coming to life. And I let Jagadish give you the download on what that cool visual system is that he has developed. But before I hand it off to Jagadish, one more thing I would add is also that the origin of how this project came about, right? We at Intel, some very smart engineers were working on some computer vision projects at Intel way back when in 1998, and decided that this should be going into an open source community so that we can get all the right minds to kind of collaborate. And since then, it has become what is called the OpenCV organization that's now outside Intel, but that we closely work with. And there was a competition last year around spatial AI. Mm-hmm. And Jagadish, with his cool project, is one of our winners in that competition. And that's how, we have collaborated with him in this project through OpenCV. And so I'll let Jagadish introduce himself and then talk about the project, that cool stuff that he's developed.
Excellent. Hema, thank you very much for that. Jagadish, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Tim. So my name is Jagadish Mahendran. I am an AI and perception engineer with a background in deep learning, computer vision, and robotics. So for the past few years, I've developed perception systems for various kinds of robots. This includes inventory robots and kitchen robots. Mm-hmm. I'm deeply honored that my project, AI-based visual assistance system, won the grand prize at the OpenCV Spatial AI Competition 2020, which is the world's largest competition in this domain. Mm-hmm. And thanks again for having me, Tim.
No problem. No, we're excited by this. So let's get into this a little bit. First of all, Hema, I'm going to go back to you a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the contest. What was it all about before we get into what Jagadish won? Tell me how the concept of the contest began.
Yeah, what we realize is one of the things that Intel does, and people think of Intel as a chip maker, right? But we do more than make chips. We kind of develop software that makes the chips run better. But then one of the things that we really care is the broader ecosystem. And so OpenCV, and we support a lot of organizations, like one of them happens to be OpenCV because it originated from Intel. Mm-hmm. But the fact that CV is a computer vision is like something that we are seeing has so many applications, right? Mm-hmm. And so we tend to kind of support organizations like CV on a regular basis. And the Open CV Spatial AI Competition was created as part of this 20th anniversary celebration for this organization that came into being, right? So as part of the anniversary celebration, we sponsored this spatial AI competition, looking at where are areas that AI, in a spatial manner, what are the different applications that are exciting and out there in the developer community that we should be kind of, bringing to light, right? And that was the goal of the spatial AI competition, because AI has played a role in many different applications, and this was one place we felt like the technology was ready and wanted to see what brilliant minds could put together. And so that was the competition that OpenCV actually envisioned, and we sponsored them, and that's about the competition.
Okay. And AI, we're hearing lots more about AI over the last while. It's becoming very prevalent in our society now.
It is, and AI can be a very powerful tool, right? But if we apply the right guidelines on how we are using it, why we are developing it, who does it impact, and does it impact it in a good manner, right? If we apply the guidelines, I think AI can be a very powerful tool, and especially for vision impairment. I think there is so many places you can think of. The technology is so ready that it can apply very easily to this problem. So, and that's what makes me a lot of excited. I can get very excited, but I know we have limited time. But I'll let you hear what Jagadish's project actually really does, and how it can impact, right, the visually impaired community.
All right, Jagadish, I'm excited now I know a little bit about what you're working on, but let's take it from the start. What have you what are you working on?
So Tim, I developed the AI-based visual assistance system as part of this competition, and this is one of the a good project where we are able to introduce the concept of so-called deep learning, part of AI, into the world of visual assistance systems. And we are able to do a lot of advanced tasks, like understanding traffic conditions, and also detecting elevational changes and detecting a lot of objects. And we are able to do a lot of things that the existing visual assistance systems cannot do. And this is mainly due to the technology from Intel, through which we are able to put all this complex AI models onto a simple, hardware form factor. So thanks to the Intel technology, especially the Intel's Movidius chip and Intel's OpenVINO software, and I'll talk a little bit about the system. So the AI system is housed in a backpack, and the sensors are placed in the vest and fanny pack along with the batteries that can last for 8 hours.
Okay.
And the system is meant to be simple, wearable, and unobtrusive, so that the user doesn't gain any unnecessary attention while walking in a public place.
Because that's true. I mean, I'm going to stop with that. That is one of the things, that there are other devices out there that really do make people stand out, right? And that is, I would say, somewhat of a concern to some people.
Yeah, so before we actually started developing this project, we actually conducted interviews to get the opinion from visually impaired people, and this was one of the major concerns that is getting a lot of attention while walking in the public places and sidewalks. So so this was one of our major focus, so that the user doesn't gain too much of attention. So with that in mind, we wanted to keep the system wearable and simple as much as possible. And I was able to walk in the downtown area without being noticed freely. So also as we proceed, we'll also try to make it even more simpler in whatever way it is possible. And continuing along with the system. So the system is overall powered by the OCT camera kit, which runs on Intel's Movidius VPU, which is an AI chip, along with Intel OpenVINO software.
Okay.
So, and the system also has a voice interface through which critical updates are provided to the user. And the user can also engage with the system via voice command through Bluetooth-enabled earphones. The system will also, respond back to the user with verbal information on how to safely navigate in the surroundings. So this is the overall architecture of the system.
Okay. Now explain to me exactly how it works then. So you're strapping on the backpack. How is this improving the life of somebody with a visual impairment?
So there's a lot of things going on in this system. One is, the OGD camera kit is a stereo vision camera, which means that it can also capture depth information. So let's say the user gets closer to an obstacle. Apart from the traditional image-based techniques, the image can provide just if there is an object or not, but with using the depth information, you'll be able to find how far this object is. And based on this certain critical threshold distance from the user, the updates will be provided to the user. For example, let's say if the user walks in closer to the obstacle, the voice interface will provide critical updates like there is an obstacle within so-and-so distance on the left or on the right or on the front. And also the user can request for certain features like if the user wants to know like what is surrounding them, right? So they can interact with the system via voice command, and there is this particular keyword, describe. Once they use this keyword, the system will try to describe the environment by detecting objects around the user, and it will start to convey this information in a clock notation. For example, if there is a car onto the right side, this will be conveyed as car to 1 o'clock to the user.
Right.
Which is This is the clock. You understand that, right?
Yep,
and if
totally. A lot of people don't understand clocks anymore, but I get it.
I think it's a fantastic technique.
Yep.
And if there's a person on the left side, it will be like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And also there are like certain features like once the stop sign is detected, like the system can detect various kind of traffic signs, including stop signs, traffic lights, pedestrian crossing, and so on. Especially with stop sign, when there is a stop sign being detected, there is this feature that gets activated, which can detect the crosswalk.
Isn't that wild?
And apart from this, there is also detecting elevation changes. We can detect like if there is any variation in the heights, and elevation changes is one of the dangerous situations, right? Can be harmful. So these updates are also considered critical. And meanwhile, like while the system can do a lot of things, right? The major focus is on providing the critical updates and reduce the continuous bombardment of the information to the user. We had to do this because through our interviews, we found that like this happens so commonly in the existing applications that the user is continuously provided with so much information, they are not able to focus on the app after a certain time. So our main focus is to like provide the critical updates, and if the user wants more information, they can request for it, and the system will be able to provide more information. However, if there is any critical updates, like there is an obstacle in so-and-so distance, this will supersede all the other updates because this is more critical.
Right. Okay. So what are some of the other features that one could request prior, going forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we also have a GPS system on the embedded. So the user can save a certain location in their custom names. For example, if a user goes to a particular location often, be it let's say a ice cream shop, they can save the location of that location as like ice cream shop, and this will be saved under that name, and they can save a lot of other locations, let's say your friend's place, right? And in circumstances where the user feels they're lost, they can use this keyword called locate, and what this essentially does is that it will look for the nearby saved locations. For example, let's say the user close to this ice cream shop, which is like 200 feet away, it will start to list ice cream shop 200 feet away, and friend's place,
Right.
let's say 1,000 feet away.
Right. So you're giving more of a sense of security if that person is lost. They kind of have that triangulation of where they are then, right?
That's right. And the user will also be able to send their GPU locations along with images to preferred contacts.
Isn't that wild? How have the tests gone so far?
So far, like, I'm the only person who've tested it, and we've already formed a team called Mira, and it's a fantastic team with a lot of volunteers who wants to make positive impact in the society. And the team also includes people who are visually impaired, so we know what we are doing. So our next step is we are raising fund for our initial phase of our prototype testing, and once we raise this fund, the prototype will be tested by our own team members. And the next step would be to scaling up to the next level of users.
So basically, you guys have taken, your idea, you have taken everything that has been either put into a visor or a smartphone, and you've made it accessible now through a Bluetooth headphone and a backpack. Is that correct?
It's not exactly that. The real achievement in this project is that deep learning is a pretty complicated technology. It is computationally very intensive. It requires specialized hardware, a lot of GPUs, money, power, fans, and it has a lot of overhead. To democratize this kind of solution, it's extremely hard considering the development made last few years, because this is a recent technology, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So the achievement here is that using the technologies from Intel, like Intel Movidius chip and OpenVINO software, we are able to compress this entire complex architecture to a hardware that is like a USB stick you just mounted onto a laptop or any other small devices. You have this capability of doing a lot of complex deep learning computations easily. And also, as in turn, we are also able to reduce the cost and form factor and also feasibility and democratize, right? And if you consider the existing solutions, these solutions use traditional computer vision without deep learning, which are not very reliable. Like, traditional computer vision techniques, they are good, but they require the environment to be controllable. As in, like, most of it is like hard coded or like hardly, tightly programmed. Let's say you program it for one place. The moment you get out of that place, you cannot say for sure this is going to work. They work totally different. And that's where the contribution of deep learning comes, right? Because deep learning can understand more complex representation and patterns and solve this complex problems of object detections and image classification, which is very complex, computationally. And which is where the Intel products are playing an amazing role of compressing all these things and put in a very simple form factor, which is cost effective and also very simple.
And if I can add to that, right? I was thinking if I can add to that, Jagadish used the word democratized, and it is, that's exactly what it is, right? Like, if you think about AI, it's a pretty complex technology. Tim, is like, it's not been, if you look back a few years, right, it would have been very hard to even envision such a system in place, right? Like, to create this visual system that Jagadish did, because it's really about bringing this complex thing that you would use in autonomous cars, or or anything even simple as your robots within that you have seen, to bring that into something so small that is that can be wearable, right? Is the tiny powerful AI chip that does all these functions is what makes it so feasible, right, for this magic to happen. So that is where the thing is, that you're doing it at where the user is. It's not sitting in a cloud somewhere yet, right? It's right there in your proximity, and it is kind of helping you in real time. So we talk about the edge, right? Like there is the AI that happens in the cloud, and there is the AI that happens at the edge. And this is an example where you can really democratize AI by making it so simple, having such low cost, a low form factor, right? Something that can fit, that has no low weight. And so there's so many factors in here that makes it feasible today that was not possible a few years ago. And so that is where AI is, and that's what makes it more exciting. And yeah, I just wanted to add that.
No,
but you had a question?
I did. Well, I was about to say, but I like exactly what you said there. My question really to you is was a statement. Is the fact is, how amazing do you guys at Intel feel, being part of something like this?
We are very excited, right? For us, we kind of knew when we were building things, right? We knew that things would like this could happen. We would look at applications and within healthcare and say, this is possible, right? But to see it made into reality like this, it kind of makes us really excited for what else is out there, because it's again, Jagadish sat here. He had a impaired friend, a visually impaired friend that he saw was struggling and just went there and created this system all on his own. That is the imagination that we need to tap into, right? There could be so many more applications, and that's what gets it excited as. And how can we make this so easy that people can just plug and play and create this, new applications that were not there before?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. For myself, I've been visually impaired in my entire life, and to hear something about like this, what a game changer for people who are less sighted than myself, who are say totally blind. But even myself, this would be something wild that could just totally help you in any number of situations. And it just blows my mind that the technology has come this far, and we continue to see the advances in technology and how things is changing. I guess the other thing, Jagadish, is you've tried it yourself. My question would be, as somebody who would maybe use it, how much does it weigh? Is it cumbersome? I know you have said that you didn't want to make it that people would be notified, or would be recognized if they were wearing it. So what's the comfort factor of it?
So I do not have a particular number for weight as such. Actually, I didn't weigh it. But
like, is it like just carrying a backpack? Is there a couple of textbooks in the back there, or am I carrying a military pack?
Absolutely, like carrying textbooks.
Okay.
So it's like just put your laptop inside and collect
okay.
Connect some USB sticks from the Intel Movidius chip, which looks like USB stick,
right.
And connect the sensors to the laptop inside, and that's all about it. And currently, our Mira team is working on improvising this solution by actually making a custom vest, so that you don't have to wear the backpack.
Okay.
It is even simpler, and you can embed the components inside, so it becomes even more easier to wear.
Wow. It just blows my mind. I think this is very cool. What is the I guess the kind of the go day for this? Where are we in? Where, as you say, we're still in the development stages. There's still a lot of testing. When do you hope to have this available for the general public?
Yeah, like I said, our team Mira is currently working on raising the funds, and once we raise the fund, we'll have some money to do some initial prototype testing from our team members. And once we get this, I think the next immediate goal will be to get this prototype tested from our team members and make a list of the problems, and if there is any critical issues, and address from there. And eventually we will also aim for a larger goal of providing the solution for a higher group of number of people.
So do we look at are we looking a year away kind of thing, or what?
No, actually, we are about to launch the GoFundMe in a matter of weeks, actually, probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
We are pretty close, and we already have a hardware for like close to 2 prototypes, and one is with me, and I'm currently working on a prototype for my team member who is in Seattle. And but the goal is to get it tested with probably all of our team members who are visually impaired, and then move on to the other rest of the people. And we also have requests from a few more people who are interested in trying a prototype, and we're really excited on how this is going to scale up, and we want to make a real good impact and provide a useful and simple solution, and hopefully make a positive difference in the visually impaired people community.
I think it's amazing. Now, one of the things that you did say when you were talking earlier, is you wanted to make this cost effective. And that is one of the things that a lot of people have brought up, who I've talked to over the last couple of years about products for the visually impaired and the blind, is the expense of it. Have you guys planned any idea of where you're looking at? Obviously we're still far away from that, but an idea of what this would potentially cost somebody?
Yeah. So like I said, our team is comprises people from various backgrounds, especially people who are visually impaired. So we understand the space really well, and we are also aware that the unemployment rate among this community is pretty high, and we want our mission is to make this solution open source and free, and as cheap as possible. And currently, this is just an initial prototype, and I think this one costed us around like $800.
Okay.
And which is based on our interviews, which we felt like it's still kind of under budget, but we still want to reduce it. The more cheaper it is, the more happier we are.
Right. No, I understand. I 100% agree with you on that one, because that's one of the things that I think a lot of people who are in the visually impaired and the blind community are still very, very worried about is all of these great pieces of technology out there, but then you're looking at shelling out thousands and thousands of dollars. And I think if you can make it more affordable and it gets into more people's hands, then the better it is, right?
Yeah, so that's exactly where I'm assisted by our team members who are providing a lot of constant, valuable inputs on how to make this simple and cheaper, and at the same time understand the community, right?
Excellent. Jagadish, I think this is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see it in action. Can't wait to be able to try it if the opportunity comes out. I think that would be really fun to do it. Where can people find out more about what you're working on right now?
miraguidance.com.
Okay.
You should be able to see our team and status and all the other information.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Hema, is there anything else that you want to add to this?
No, just I think it was really nice talking to you, Tim. And I think we are really in a different, exciting place right now for AI and what it could do for really the visual impairment, right, to solve some of the big challenges that we have. And at some other point, we can share with you the other applications that we are also supporting. But we are really excited for what Jagadish kind of did this, and the impact that it can create for the community, right? So we are really excited, and we'll share more information with you on your website to kind of, or we'll send you more information that you can put out to it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And as I say, if there's other things that you guys are working on, I would be more than happy to talk to you about those in future episodes and continue the relationship. But thank you very much for sharing with that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks for listening to Blind Like Me. If you have a comment or suggestion about future casts, drop us an email to blindlikeme@outlook.com. Blind Like Me is a TimBlackOnAir.com production.